What's going on, everybody? Hashtag Data Spartan back with a new video today. And I am joined by Meg McKeen. She is the founder at Adjunct Advisors. Meg, thank you for joining me.
Lance, thank you for asking me to join you. I'm excited about what's to come out of this little conversation this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So really what I wanted to do is your story is pretty interesting. So I want to talk about reimagining career paths in a traditional insurance industry. And then you were saying that you became a digital nomad about 5 years ago. Can you kind of talk about one, reimagining careers, and two, that sort of why digital nomad? Like, why did you make that decision?
Yeah, I love it. There's a lot of history and a lot of tradition in the insurance industry. Some would say it holds us back sometimes. And I definitely found myself leaning into a lot of that tradition when I thought about my career path, which is not the story here. It's very similar to a lot of us in the business who started out not knowing any better. And all of a sudden you blink and 20 years go by and we've achieved a level of success, however you define that on an individual basis. And you're on a path that some days makes total sense and other days not so much. And I think what a lot of us have been through in the last couple of years as a result of the pandemic is really this evaluation, this reconciliation, if you will, of kind of where work fits in our life. And I very much grew up in a culture where it was the other way around, and built a lifestyle around my work and chose to live in certain places because of the demands or the requirements of the job. And I see a lot of peers of mine. I'm in my mid-40s now. I see a lot of those. It really isn't an age thing. It's more of a mindset where we're looking at where we have yet to go professionally and financially and personally, and really starting to reimagine what that could look like. I will clarify, I left my last traditional insurance job 5 years ago, but just became a digital nomad in the last year and a half. So that's a newer part of this story for me, but did decide to go out on my own in a consulting capacity 5 years ago.
So what was your, I guess, biggest hurdle? Was it like a mental hurdle, or was it like a physical logistics hurdle to get into that digital nomad lifestyle?
It really wasn't a hurdle, which I think was the most interesting part of that exploration for me. I very much looked at where I was in my life, and I built this business that was essentially virtual and I could run it from anywhere. And yet I looked around and I was 10 years into a life in Chicago, which I loved, but also didn't really have a sense of what was next, except I knew that there needed to be something next. And so rather than jump from sort of one situation to another, I decided to create some white space for myself. And that meant selling my home and 99% of my things, or throwing them away, and being comfortable that I no longer have yearbooks from high school and love letters from ex-boyfriends. And like those things are all in a landfill somewhere, and just really bit by bit starting to peel away all of this attachment that I'd had to a life that no longer was fulfilling to me. And in the absence of any clear next step, I decided to hit the road. And that's what I've been doing since.
Interesting. So that's a good point. And I guess the last thing I want to end on is, if anybody out there is kind of feeling like you in the insurance agency industry rather, and they want to sort of open that door, what's your kind of recommended first step for them?
I would honor that sense of curiosity in yourself. If there's something in your gut or rattling around in your brain, and you're starting to feel like there's something maybe next for you, I would allow yourself permission just to explore that and start to talk about it and be curious about it. For me, that's how it started. And it's that sense of curiosity that fuels my path forward. I still feel it today.
Interesting. That's good. Well, Meg, thank you so much. I love learning from you. Everybody, hope you got some good value out of that, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.